So nice to have you along on the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And by the end of the show, we will let you know why they call it Black Friday. And as I was saying to our fine friends viewing on Facebook, I bet not 1 in 10 know why this is called Black Friday. We'll talk about that later. It's a beautiful day in Chattanooga. A little chilly, but boy, is it refreshing. Smoke is basically gone. Our hats off to the first responders and firefighters that were non-stop for weeks. They came up from Georgia and Florida to give some relief, and we want to thank you guys, and we do keep you in our prayers. Now, Best Shot is a show that entitles you to call us and give us your best shot. Now, it being a holiday weekend, I'm thinking there's not a lot of people hanging by the phone to call a talk radio station, but that's okay, because I got lots to talk about. Trust me. We have a lot of things to talk about. Even without prepping for the show, it's all right here in this Noogan. 423-800-8949. 800-8949. 423-800-8949. That's our call-in line. By the way, we don't often talk about this, but you can also go to our weather app. It's Bloom Sky. Bloom Sky. That's live weather you can view here in Chattanooga. Bloom Sky or Bloom Sky app. Once again, check out Hot News Talk Radio. We're Nooga Radio, too, noogaradio.com, and 101.1 FM as of December 1st at 9 a.m. That's our official kickoff date. That's December 1st at 9 a.m. That's next Thursday. You're going to have to check it out. In town, in Chattanooga, our FM station, 101.1 FM. We're going to be excited to be on downtown. You can hear some unique programming on both sides. Sometimes you'll hear the same programming on the AM and FM, sometimes different programming on the FM and on the AM. Nonetheless, it's going to be unique, fantastic programming. December 1st, Nooga Radio, 101.1 FM, 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949. Lots happened last week, including the tragedy. I know everyone's talking about it, and you don't want to hear it anymore, but we're going to be hearing about this till we get final results of what exactly happened. 6 children losing their lives in that school bus crash. And we're in touch with one of the mothers who allegedly sent letters to the school board or Hamilton County back in August, and we're working diligently to obtain those letters. Here is my post on Facebook this morning regarding that. You can go to Facebook, Hot News Talk Radio, and look up Mike Steele or Cupelli, one and the same. Just for Chattanooga, I think it's easier to use my middle name, which is Mike. Incompetence or racism. Hamilton County officials and the school board need to come clean and clear their conscience. Why was the mother of a beautiful child who lost their life ignored? She repeatedly attempted to warn those in charge of the mental state of the bus driver and outright disregard by the children he was busing. Now, let me tell you, I often don't read verbatim. I like to have a conversation with you, but I think it's important to hear this. Incompetence, disrespect, and a total disregard of the law seem to be the agenda of the day for this bus driver, an individual charged with protecting the safety and welfare of children. Nooga Radio 101.1 FM and 1240 AM will continue to investigate these allegations and are demanding that Hamilton County turn over the letters sent by the mother in August. The mother, by the way, will be on this radio station soon. Only a handful of times in my 45-year career as this broadcast journalist suspected racism in a local news story that I've been directly involved in and investigating. However, this appears to be a case of either total blatant incompetence or total blatant racism. I can't help but think if these children were from a lily white area with parents who were economically well off, that immediate attention would have been given to the situation and addressed properly. So that's our take on this. And as often labeled as a right-wing nut and blah, 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 even racist at times, for me, and it's totally ridiculous because that's not true. I mean, when we're criticizing some actions of Muslims, or we're criticizing some actions of some other religious groups or ethnic groups. That's not racism. It's pointing out the truth and pointing out facts. And as in this investigation, being an objectivist, which I am, looking at the situation, every situation, totally objective, using reason, logic, common sense, and science, and then coming to a conclusion, the only two things I can conclude are racism or incompetence. Because if my kid came home and my little girls, my little girl takes the bus. My little girls don't. But my one little girl, 14 years old, she takes the bus, the school. And if she came home to me one time and said, Dad, the bus driver was slamming his brakes on, or I hit my head, I'd be in school so fast and say, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm riding the bus tomorrow. Oh, your rules say I can't? Well, why don't you try to stop me? Call the police or sheriff. So you need to address this now. And then I would have a conversation with the bus driver and say, this is what I was told. And let me tell you, bub, if I hear one more time you're slamming brakes or threatening kids, it'll be the last time you do it. Because that's what men do. You know that? We don't necessarily just file petitions and ask the court for relief and go to police or sheriff's department who's going to tell us, well, there's nothing we can do about it until the incident happens. Men take action and strong women take action. And it looks like the mother tried to take action. And what was done? Nothing. She was ignored. That doesn't surprise me. It's Hamilton County. Of course she was ignored. It's a government. There's bureaucracy. I'm not saying there's not good people in the county. There's good people everywhere. But it's a government. It's bureaucracy. Look at the Udawalt case. Look at the basketball case. Look at the cover-up. We paid the superintendent to leave. We should have fired him and charged him. There should have been more charges. You realize as the public, if you do 1/10 of what people in government do, they'll bury you under the jail. You just have to think it, breathe it, and talk about it, and they look to get you and bury you under the jail. But trust me, they protect their own. They protect their pensions. They protect their jobs. They protect their own. But they're not getting away with this one. Because we're going to find out whether or not she sent letters. And we're going to see what was in those letters, who the letters went to, and ultimately who's responsible. That's what I want to know. Because let me tell you, when government wants answers from you, they want to know who's responsible. When they show up at your business to inspect it, who's in charge? Who's responsible? Who do we send this letter to? Who do we send this demand to? Who do we send this fine to? Who do we demand show up in court? They want to know who's in charge and who's responsible. So do we. It works both ways. If you want to know who's responsible when you're collecting our tax dollars or demanding we do or don't do something, I don't give a damn if you're the local government, the county government, the city government, or the federal government. We want the same answers. There are no grants of title of nobility in this republic. Article 1, Section 10. No state shall grant any title of nobility. Letter of marque or reprisal. And that's so obvious, I'm just doing that from the top of my head. The federal government has no authority to create czars or nobility or titles of nobility, and the states were denied it. You are our employees. Do you get that? Do you get that? Everyone from the dog catcher to the president that was elected and are hired and collect a check from the local, state, city, federal government are our employees. You work for us. We don't work for you. And it's easy for them to come around and give us a demand letter. You got to answer in 15 days. You have to make this court date. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? We're demanding the same thing. How's that for you? I'll go one step further. You want to track us? You want to have the little license plate readers so you can sniff our underwear by remote control? Oh, he may have an outstanding parking ticket. Oh, she may have missed the court date, blah, blah, blah. Without even probable cause, you're scanning our driver's licenses. This makes Nazi Germany look tame as far as wanting information. I think we need to reverse it. I think every single person that collects a check from the government that works for the system, from the dog catcher to the president, needs to wear a body camera. We need to GPS you. We need to track you. And you need to weekly give us a report of what you've done that week because we're your employer. How's that sound? And that's the way it's supposed to be because in this constitutional republic, we're the boss, not them. Get that straight. You're the authority. You know how much you've been lied to? Your Christian churches have lied to you. Your parents have lied to you. The media has lied to you, and the government has lied to you. And I'm so sick of hearing this Romans. Romans said, God put authority over you, and you blah. Shut up. We're the authority. We, the people, granted limited power to the government to govern, to protect our individual rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We're Caesar. In this republic, we're Caesar, not them. Get that straight. In this republic, we don't have any masters. None. At least no male or female masters of flesh and blood. We're the masters. We, the people, gave breath into the Constitution. If you actually read the preamble, it'll tell you, we, the people, have given this to you. We've given this to you as a gift to create the system. And in that, we dictate the rules and regulations. And we need to see what our employees are doing. So when an individual sends a letter to a bureaucrat that works for the state or the county government, we know those letters are kept in files. We know they're documented. They're maybe even on microfilm. And if they destroy it, it's destroying evidence. But as we've seen at the federal level, Hillary can do that. Hillary can destroy evidence. Lois Lerner in the IRS destroyed evidence. Can you believe the head of the IRS, one division, actually refused to testify and held back evidence, destroyed evidence? These are the people that want to sniff your underwear and tell you owe them money and tell you what to do, and now are in charge of running a healthcare, not by fault of themselves, but by fault of Congress. I'm sure they didn't want the job. Congress just threw another load on top of them. But when it comes to them answering questions, I take the fifth. Try to do that. How much did you earn last year? I take the fifth. Let's try to throw you in jail. The courts have ruled you can't take the fifth on a tax return. Oh, well, how about the fourth? How about not giving you my private information? No, the courts have ruled you have to do that too. Well, wait a second. You're testifying before Congress and taking the fifth, not giving any information. If we do that, you call us tax protesters. You call that tax avoiders. You call us conservatives, nuts who want to avoid and evade. But you can do it. Isn't it amazing? Just as the government can avoid and evade releasing a letter that was sent from a mother regarding an alleged crazy bus driver. Now, there is going to be a prosecution. There's going to be a jury, and there's going to be questions as it's the media tainting this. And let me tell you, I don't trust the TV stations in this area. They are the weakest I've ever seen in reporting. They wouldn't know how to report a story if it came up and bit them on the rear end. I mean, look what happened last year in July when a Muslim terrorist killed 5 servicemen. They still haven't pushed the government for answers. They still side with the system. And we don't want to rattle any cages here. We got to work with these people. We don't want to rattle the cages of these judges and these prosecutors. We don't care about. We're you know what we are? We're cage rattlers. I don't belong to any group, any organization. I don't go to lunch with them. I don't go to dinner with them. I don't go to the country club. I'm not part of them. We're not part of them at this radio station. We're concerned with the truth. The truth. We have a fiduciary responsibility to you, the listener. Do you know why that is? Because you don't have time or the means to do this. You're busy working, trying to pay a mortgage, trying to pay your kids' tuition, trying to pay your gas bill. You don't have time for this. That's why we're here for you to do this. We're your mouthpiece. Do you get that? We're your mouthpiece. We're proud to be your mouthpiece. That's our responsibility. And as your mouthpiece, we created this great venture called Hot News Talk Radio, or Nooga Radio, where you report and the world decides. You hear that? That logo was created by us 3 years ago. You report and the world decide. And why that is because we noticed some time ago that the National Northeast Marxist Communist Leftist Socialist News Media, which is absolutely the Communist News Network, CNN, no doubt they don't report news. It's fake news. They want to say, our news is fake news. It's their news that are fake news, MSNBC, so on and so forth. That I had seen a trend, and the trend was people under 50 not watching these people anymore because they're dinosaurs and they no longer believe them. They don't believe the dinosaurs. And the new media is social media. And that's why we're your social media radio station. We're going to start up something soon where the best story is going to get some money at the end of the month. So you send us stories at noogaradio@gmail.com. noogaradio@gmail.com. The best story, you win a prize at the end of the month because you're the reporter. You really are. You know, what gives, under the First Amendment, exclusivity to MSNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, or even us? They don't get a special grant or privilege. They're the media because they say they're the media. Do you know you have just as many rights as they do as an individual? You can get a tag that says media and start your own little media company. And you have just as many rights under the First Amendment as they do. Just because they've got lots of money and fancy sets and they have real neat intros and they sound really cool doesn't mean under the First Amendment they have any more power than you or more legitimate than you. I think you're more legitimate. I think when you see a news story and you post it, you're more legitimate because it's real, it's true. It's not filtered. You see, journalists are trained to be filtered. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about this, how every radio station has a program director, and it is the personality of that program director that's reflected on not only the radio station, but also the television news stations. And they tend to hire like-minded people. As the program director here, of course, I mainly hire like-minded people. I want a certain theme with this radio station, which is telling you the truth, getting to the bottom of what's going on. I want the facts, no matter where they may lead. Now, in the national Northeast Marxist media, their agenda is to the left. They're Marxists, they're socialists. They will use language to cunningly coerce you. They will use language to manipulate, subvert, and pervert. You know, one of the greatest stories I tell is when I was a youngster. I was a youngster. I was a young news guy, and I was doing rip and read. I was a disc jockey. We had a rip and read once an hour in the 70s with that old teletype clicking in the background. We run back, get that teletype paper out. There it is. And sometimes we didn't have time, and we just read. You know, according to we read the thing, and all of a sudden I come up against, this is in the 70s, a line that said anti-abortion. And I just automatically changed it to pro-life. Because to me, anti is negative. So they're not anti-abortion, they're actually pro-life. Well, the news director came unhinged. I mean, this guy, he came, when I say unhinged, unhinged. And I basically told him to bite me. I'm not changing the language. That's what it is. And he tried to get me fired. The GM said no. But over one word or two words, pro-life. So this is what we're dealing with in this media. That people aren't necessarily sitting around conspiring as to what to say or not say, but it's a conspiracy of philosophy. And let me tell you where it starts. Your mom and dad. By telling you, obey authority. The experts say, do you know there's only one expert in this constitutional republic, and that's a marksman? When the courts say that's an expert witness, no, it's not. You can't have two experts. You can have two individuals with opinions that have been doing it for a long time. But to have an expert, there has to be facts, which means a marksman hits a bullseye. And when he hits that bullseye, it's a fact that it went in there, and then they get a designation of marksman. Everyone else basically just has an opinion. So you've been lied to there. You've been lied to your whole life, basically, from mom and dad in the school system, so on and so forth. And that's why we sit back and we take the government not answering our questions, not releasing letters that may have been sent, doing things like reading our driver's license plates to try to find something on us to raise money for the police state, which, by the way, just an aside here, that is illegal for the state or the county or the local government to calculate how much they will receive in fines is not legal, because that has to be raised through taxation in the legislature. Those fines are an aside, but they're doing it all over the country. They calculate, well, we have to raise this much money in fines, speeding tickets, traffic violations of all sorts, so on and so forth. And that in and of itself is illegal, because only the legislature can pass laws to raise revenue to run the state. But once again, we're asleep. You got to obey your authority, right? There's the government, obey your authority, obey the government. No. We're a Judeo-Christian nation. We're a constitutional republic. We're the boss. You see, Donald Trump is sent there for 4 years temporarily to represent us or represent us. We come back, we have some more interesting tidbits, including why they call Black Friday Black Friday. Do you know? I don't think you do. If you know, I'm going to let you tell us. 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949 on the web, noogaradio.com. We'll be at 101.1 FM for downtown Chattanooga Thursday, December 1st at 9 a.m. for the David Tulis Show. Nooga Radio, AM 1240. Nice to have you aboard.
AM 1240 Nooga Radio News. Russell Stroud reporting. Questions are being raised about the school bus driver, Jonathan Walker, who the police say was driving the bus when it flipped and killed 5 children, critically injuring 6, and leaving many more in the hospital. According to state records, the driver had already had his license revoked once for failure to show insurance and had been involved in a wreck involving the bus before. Another question being raised is, would seatbelts inside that bus have saved lives? The NTSB recommends lap and shoulder safety belts, but wouldn't comment specifically on this case. We're awaiting video footage from inside the bus to be released by the police. A Chattanooga man's been sentenced to 5 years in prison after police found 59.4 grams of crack cocaine and other drugs inside his car, along with a large amount of cash. And firefighters from Florida are going to be heading home after assisting those in Tennessee put out the wildfires here that have been ravaging the countryside for weeks. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on. AM 1240 Nooga Radio. Remember to get a tag at the Chick-fil-A at Northgate Mall and make a child's dream come true.
Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station. Hot News Talk 1240. The voice of NASCAR.
Is your career taking you where you want to go? If not, talk to Covenant Group Insurance, especially if you like helping people. Call and learn how you can work for yourself, but not by yourself. Intense but free training, plus a fantastic lead program, plus office support equals your success, your prosperity. Gross at least $75,000 your first year selling insurance. Call Steve or Jada for a confidential interview. That's 855-8484. Maybe the most important call you'll make all year.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis has the cash when you sell gold, silver, diamonds, rings, and jewelry. Sell Rick your precious metals today and lock in your price. Hey, Rick Davis will trade your cash for shiny, brilliant, and heavy gold. Gold cheaper now by $100 an ounce. Join the Rick Davis Silver Bonanza too. Prices so low, the Lone Ranger is bound to gallop in, Kimosabe.
Hey-ho, silver, away!
The markets are changing, so buy now. Cash, 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 and more cash for your silver and gold, gold, gold. Rick Davis, 5301 Brainerd Road. That's 5301 Brainerd Road. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Oh, and cash, cash, cash. You know where it is.
Hey-ho, silver, away!
We're at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Yes, ma'am. 2 orders of nachos with beef and beans and 2 beers. Chattanooga loves its Amigos restaurants, but the Amigos in Hickson has something extra. NCAA, the week's big game. How about a house wine? Really good. Big name beers. Just tell Maria what you want. And here at Amigos, margaritas are popular. And it's only $3 a day. If you come here on a game day, Saturday, a Natty Light is only $2.25. Here at Amigos, just during NCAA, Natty Light, $2.25. Amigos Mexican Restaurant in Hickson. The happy hour is 3 to 9 today and every day. I'd say the atmosphere is festive. Look at that huge TV. It's like being amid the fans under a bright sun, but without all the heat. Stay cool. Quench your thirst. Amigos, between the Staples and Hobby Lobby. Take the table next to mine and enjoy the great NCAA game with friend or family here at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Okay, shh, it's starting.
Here's what advertisers are saying about AM 1240. HotNewsTalkRadio.com.
The radio station, they really care. They're always calling me probably once a week, checking on me, seeing how things going, see if they want to change any of the ads or do anything different, seeing what my needs are. I've gotten business off the ads that you do for me, and seems to be working well at this point.
Prices were very fair. Areas in this town that we aren't able to get other ways, your radio station is able to help us out, and I really appreciate that.
We've been very pleased with the services we've got. It seems like everybody over there cares about what they're going to do, how it's going to work for us on this end, and we've been very impressed with the creativity of the ads that we've heard, and they always seem to be right on point, even without us having to come up with what's going to be said.
I've been doing business with News Talk Radio for quite some time. It's the best place and the best value you can get for your advertisement. The commercials are great. They're very professional. I was actually blown away.
The commercial that they put together was awesome. It was way far above all the other radio stations we've dealt with. The best we've had yet, guaranteed, by far.
AM 1240, HotNewsTalkRadio.com gets results. Let us get results for your business. For no obligation free consultation, call General Sales Manager Steve Johnson. Call 423-240-5459. That's 240-5459. Or you can always email Steve at NoogaRadiosteve@gmail.com. That's NoogaRadiosteve@gmail.com. AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. We get results.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Yeah, I was just telling the audience off air during the break on Facebook how I'm enjoying my crisp, pure aqua purified water. Oh, it's so good. To me, it tastes like tap water anyway. I mean, and who would have thought that this would be a multi-billion-dollar business, that this thing's probably $1. I mean, come on. I used to swim in the polluted Schuylkill River. It was polluted in the 60s. I mean, totally polluted. And nothing's wrong with me. Well, okay, just a twitch every now and then. It's our official mascot, in case you're wondering. I'm holding up a character from SpongeBob who my little girl loved for years, and it is Plankton. And I'd always tell her, why do I like Plankton? And why is Plankton so special? Because he never gives up. Never. She used to say, Dad, because you want to conquer the world? Well, yeah, that too. But basically because he doesn't know how small he is, and he never gives up. So there's a little mascot. That's Plankton. And also during the break, I was talking about how I didn't get to what I wanted to get to on this day after Thanksgiving, this Black Friday. And if you know what Black Friday, you know what? You'll just Google it and cheat. So I'm going to tell you. Black Friday is the day that merchants years ago were finally getting into the black. See, when you're in the red, you're losing money. But Black Friday, there were so many shoppers coming out because of having Thursday and Friday off. There were so many shoppers coming out the day after Thanksgiving that retailers actually were in the black as far as their books were concerned. So they're actually starting to make money. So that's where the term Black Friday came from. All right, there you go. So now you finally know. That's got to be worth 50 cents and a cup of coffee. 423-800-8949. This is Best Shot at Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com. Hot News Talk Radio on YouTube. We're broadcasting live worldwide. We're on Twitter at Hot News Talk Radio, Facebook at Hot News Talk Radio. This is Nooga Radio going live at 101.1 FM. Thursday, December 1st, 9 a.m., your downtown FM Chattanooga station will be 101.1 FM. Russell normally hosts Best Shot, where you get a chance to give us your best shot on what we have posted on Facebook or Twitter throughout the week. And Russell, well-deserved rest. Russell's a news director, does a fantastic job. And he will be on Monday morning, doing the news starting at 7 o'clock. And then next Thursday, he'll be starting at 6 o'clock. Oh, I want to remind you of this too. December 3rd, we're going to be at Chick-fil-A in the Northgate Mall, and we ask you to come by and drop off some toys for the kids. These are kids at the Children's Baptist Home, and maybe their parents could be in jail, maybe they're not alive, but they really don't have anybody. They just have you, and you can go by and pull one of the paper Christmas trees and see what they want. You can get everything on a list. You can get one thing on a list, and you can make someone's Day a Little Brighter. That's from Chattanooga's for Justice and Chrissy Essex, who put that together. We'll be there live trying to get you to come on out and say hi between 2 and 4 on December 3rd, Chick-fil-A in the Northgate Mall. Now that it's getting colder, a little colder, we had a very hot summer. We had a very warm fall, which I say bring on the global warming facetiously, because we really know there is no such thing as global warming. That's just you and me talking. And I've been doing this a long time. And I interviewed a lot of people, including scientists and people much smarter than me. Well, not much smarter than me, maybe a little smarter. But in talking to scientists over the years, the legitimate ones, they know it's a joke. The hoax of climate change deals with convincing you that you're harming the earth, with its ultimate goal of taking your money. Don't think it's anything more or less. That's basically just what it is. In the 60s and 70s that we dealt with global cooling. We're all going to freeze to death. Oh, no. And then the 70s and 80s, global warming. The world's coming to an end. And now it's climate change because it warms and cools. What they don't tell you about is the thousands of nuclear weapons that were exploded in the upper atmosphere. Can you believe these nut jobs through the 40s, 50s, and 60s and 70s blew up nuclear weapons in the upper atmosphere where the ozone is? These are the nuts that mom and dad told you were the authority that you need to look up to obey. They're lunatics. They're absolute nut jobs. The only difference between them and you and me is they're nuts. Because I would never say, oh, yeah, I think it's a good idea to explode a hydrogen bomb in the upper atmosphere and blow a hole in the ozone. But fortunately, the earth repaired itself and continues to repair itself. But these internationalists, these one world government guys who've been around for years, wanted to find a way to tax everyone in the world. You know, we always said, can't tax the air you breathe. Well, no, they came up with a way to tax the air you breathe. It's called carbon credits. And we do that through making you feel guilty because you have a carbon footprint. You just breathing. You just breathing are negatively affecting the earth and the climate. And you have to pay for that. You have a carbon footprint. So ultimately, what these international elitists want is for you to feel guilty and pay up. Just another way to scam you out of your money and control your life. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, we had a liberal in here a couple of weeks ago. It was like, you don't believe it? I said, show me the evidence. You just talk to a scientist. I said, I did. They say it's a fraud. Well, no. I said, show me the evidence. We will put you on the air. Make me look silly. There is none. But people will continue to parrot the lie because it makes us feel good. We recycle, and we believe in carbon credits, and we hug trees, and it's a bunch of crap. It's one big scam. It's one big scam. It's like the money system. The monetary system of America is one big scam. Believing that paper has value and is money. The only reason it had value because up until 1968, you could take the paper in and get your silver coin for it. You could redeem it or buy it back. And now you can't. The bankers stole all your money in 1968. You didn't even know it, did you? June 25th, 1968, the bankers of America and the Federal Reserve Bank stole your precious silver. And you didn't know it. There should have been a revolution then. The fact that the international bankers stole your money. But there wasn't, because the media is controlled, and just about everything you see on television regarding news, for the most part, is a lie. Or there are pieces of lies in there. They don't want to give you the whole truth. At AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Nooga Radio, we want to give you the whole truth. That's why we're going to investigate this bus crash fully. We're going to put individuals on the air that are aware of what this driver was about. If we can talk to his friends or family, we may even conduct a mock trial here. And I'm sure the defense is going to be screaming and yelling, oh, the media is polluting it, blah, blah. You know, that's not my job. You do your job, we do our job, okay? You need to get the trial moved. That's up to you. We do what we do for the listener. You do what you do. I have no obligation to protect someone I think purposely ran the bus into a tree. And listen, even if he didn't do it purposely, there's 6 kids dead. There's 6 kids dead. You know, manslaughter is not being purposeful. If you accidentally hit someone, they run out in front of you, that's manslaughter. You're going to jail. You didn't mean to do it. You don't have to have intent to go to jail. So whether or not he had intent, he killed 6 kids. He needs to go to jail. How's that sound? Intent or no intent? Liberal TV media. Well, maybe he was giving excuses. That's the nation. We're a nation of excuses. Excuse after excuse. Hillary, excuses. It was the FBI director. It was Hillary. People don't like you. They don't like. This was an election about ideas, not people. The people that voted for Hillary could murder 1 million people. Liberal Democrats would still vote for her because primarily they want something for nothing. They believe in climate change. They believe in killing unborn babies. All I have to do to a person is ask them one question, and I could tell you almost 100% where they stand on most political issues. And here's the question. Do you believe in climate change? Yep. And I can tell them you also believe that the federal government stealing people's money and redistributing their wealth is good. Well, yeah, we need taxes. You also believe that the 1% need to be punished. Well, yeah. Even though they pay most of the taxes. They pay almost all the if you were to tax the 1% of the wealthiest people in America, you could run the country for an hour. Scam. Another left-wing scam. So you believe in killing unborn babies. Well, that's women's health care. You want to let people just come over the border, right? No border control. Just let them go. Well, yeah, they're looking for a better life. And, of course, you also believe they should be fed for free. Well, of course. How about giving a car? Let's give them a car. Let's give them a cell phone. Give them TVs. Free, free, free. Just give it to them. See, but they don't want to pay for it. That's the difference. They want you to pay for it. Yeah, you ever notice a car with a Bernie or a Hillary sticker or some sort of dummy rat sticker on there, some left-wing Democrat on there? You know, it's always a very nice car, maybe a Prius or a Lexus, you know. They probably work for the government, making $150,000 a year because they're looking to save their own ass. That's what it is. It's about saving myself. Liberals are the most narcissistic, self-serving, selfish people you'll ever want to meet. And I'm proud to say I don't have any Democrat or liberal friends. Never did, never will. Don't want to be around them. How's that for you? You're just narrow-minded. No, actually, I'm not. I keep my, you know, I was for the death penalty for many years, and a caller called in years ago and said, "Aren't you a guy that doesn't trust government?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "But you trust them to kill him?" I'm like, "Ooh, good point. I think I'll change my mind." And I did. If I don't trust government, I can't trust government to kill someone, can I? So you can't say I'm narrow-minded because I changed my view on that. Even on abortion, I kind of changed my view. I think there needs to be an exception in the abortion case. Now, not for just the life of the mother, rape or incest, but I think liberal Democrats should be able to have abortions. Because think about this. If all liberals and Democrats have abortions, the chances are in 20 years, they won't exist. They will wean themselves out of existence. Ha ha! You never thought of that, did you? That's why I get paid the little bucks. Margaret Sanger, of course, the head of Planned Parenthood, thought differently. The head of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood in Atlanta, hated blacks, hated Mexicans, hated people of color. But it's amazing how people of color, their organizations, embrace her. Not the people, but the organization and the left and everything. They embrace a racist and a hater. Because everyone that I know that voted for Hillary and have known voted for Hillary are racists. They certainly hate unborn babies, or they wouldn't want them dead. They wouldn't want to kill them. But everyone that I met is certainly a racist. I don't think I've don't think I met a Democrat that wasn't a racist. But they try to put it on the other side. You see, anyone that thinks it's okay to kill little black babies, and that's what they believe in, because that's mainly abortion kills little black babies. Anybody that believes that people shouldn't be able to protect themselves with their guns and have a right to their own property and believe in the security of the republic and our constitutional republic here in America, anybody that doesn't believe in that, I think is kind of the enemy of America. You know, the other day went into a convenience store, and the person was I'm just guessing, you know, maybe some. Well, I'm going to say, I think she was a Muslim, and that's not. Listen, it's not to say my first client was Muslim. They're great Muslims. They're great Christians. They're great because the Muslims that assimilate into American culture are like hardcore Christians or Catholics that assimilate into American culture. You become American. There's certain traits of an American. There's certain things we do and don't do, like celebrate Thanksgiving. She doesn't, her family doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. Are you a true American if you don't assimilate? Now, do we say Merry Christmas anymore? What's happy holiday stuff? What does that mean? What happened to Merry Christmas? I want to know, are you working on December 25th, bureaucrats in the federal government who refuse to say Merry Christmas? Because you're taking the holiday off. Why are you taking it off? You don't believe in Christmas. Conservatives, patriots, individuals that believe in our constitutional republic and the rule of law need to grow a set. And we should never allow the left to control the language. They need to be confronted at every step. Never give an inch, never give a mile, never give a centimeter or a millimeter, a silly millimeter. A lot of times they're just not educated in a lot of these issues. And that's where we come in to educate them. Maybe we need re-education camps because we have them in America. They're called public schools. The public schools are re-education camps, and the universities are. You know, you teach your kids a certain way, and they go to the re-education camps at universities, whereby most of the professors are hardcore Marxists who've never worked a day in their life, and they're going to dictate to your children how they should think, feel, and believe, and of course put down America one way or another. You know, look at what we're seeing with Trump. He won the electoral votes. He's the president-elect, and the left can't handle it. They're beside them. We don't want a business guy that's been successful, a multi-billionaire to run a multi-trillion-dollar company like America. America's basically a multi-trillion-dollar company. How is Barack Obama even qualified to run this country? If you were to sit down to hire Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, or Donald Trump, and you were to ask them questions relevant to running this country, would you ever think about putting Hillary or Obama in charge? So let's see your resume here. You realize you're going to be running a multi-trillion-dollar company called the United States of America. We have interests all over the world. Let me see here. Okay, Hillary, you really? And are you serious? And you couldn't even save these guys. I mean, what? Barack, let me see you. Community organizer, Marxist, smoker, drinker, likes to go on vacation a lot. You know, Obama would be the guy that walked in for the interview and said, how much vacation time do I get? Be his first question in the interview. How much vacation time do I get? Let me see Trump. You build a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. You understand business. You understand how to get people to work together. You know, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. You know, I'm amazed that individuals in government are allowed to make rules, regulations, and even statutes without having any knowledge of the business they're regulating. If there's going to be a law, there needs to be one more. And I've said this for years, and I want to thank you, Trump, for stealing my wind or stealing the, you know, my lines like Mexico needs to build the wall and they need to pay for it. Said that for 40 years. And some other interesting things. But, you know, hey, a good idea is a good idea. I'm going to guarantee you probably within the first 3 months, we start to see a little bit of that wall being built. And people are now saying, well, he says a fence. Well, there's certain swamp areas where you can't build a wall. It's going to be a fence, hopefully an electrified fence. But you're going to see it happen. Trump is a better man than most of us men, and I'll tell you why. He's bringing people in that didn't like him, that trashed him. I was talking about this to a friend of mine the other day, saying, I don't think I could ever do that. But he's looking at the good of America and the issues beyond himself, beyond personal attacks. He's just letting them flow off his shoulder. And as I said, this election wasn't about personality. It was about issues. It was about those who want to keep all of their benefits, their job, and philosophically believe that America really shouldn't be first. They don't even get, and I'm going to give you the evidence. Here's the evidence. Popular vote would dictate that there's a United States of America with no states. Let's just call it the United States of America. Let's get rid of all the county lines and all the state lines. One big country. Well, in that, maybe it would make sense to have a popular vote because we're one big country. But that's not our constitutional republic. These people have gone to college and still are not educated in what we are as Americans. We're 50 individual unique states that at one time were actually countries, like the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, like the Commonwealth of Virginia, making their own rules and regulations, could prosecute and still can prosecute crimes, like countries. And what the founders set out to do was to say, okay, you states are like individual countries, but we need one voice when we're dealing with foreign nations. And that one voice is going to come from a central source. That's going to be D.C. We're all going to elect representatives to go to D.C. so we speak in one voice. If there's a dispute between two states, there needs to be a central authority to settle those disputes. The monetary system. Under the Articles of Confederation, the states were printing money and their economies almost virtually collapsed. So we need one central currency. We're going to call it silver and gold coin. The founders said, let's mimic the Spanish mill dollar. We'll call it the dollar. It's a unit of measurement. It's a weight. It's 371 1/4 grains of 99.9% fine silver. The Seventh Amendment talks about, Sixth Amendment, I think, or Seventh. I used to know it off the top of my head. Talks about any dispute at common law over $20, you're entitled to a jury trial. Just as the Constitution mentions years, it mentions dollars because the dollar is a unit of measurement. Time is a unit of measurement. A year is 365 days. That's why it's in the Constitution. A dollar is 371 1/4 grains of fine silver. It's a unit of measurement. It's not a thing. The paper promised redemption in the silver. If you look at an old silver certificate, it says, pay to the bearer on demand $1 in silver. It was a receipt for the silver that was held in the bank's vaults. Well, June 25th, 1968, the bank no longer gave you your silver back. They said, play with the paper. There's no such thing as paper dollars. That's a lie. It's another lie that the government has over and over and over again have told you as a truth. But the point being is we're 50 individual unique states, and that's why the Electoral College is so important. Just as each state has 2 senators representing it, the Electoral College is based on the population of those states. And if you look at the electoral map and you look at the blue and red, you'll see there's a sea of red, except for the Northeast, a little bit of the East Coast, and California, because that's where most of the liberal city population is that benefits from sucking out of the center. It's like one big vacuum. They suck all the money out of the center of the state, the southern part of the states, and they distribute it to those blue portions. So if you want to see where your tax dollars are going, look on the Electoral College map, and you'll see the red, the producers, and all the money being sucked out of there, being thrown into the blue part of the map. And why the blue part of the map is upset is because they tend to have more population on those sides and can care less about the center because they believe there's the United States of America. There's not. It's the States United of America. The federal government granted very limited powers under Article 1, Section 8. The states denied powers under Article 1, Section 10, any power that hasn't been granted to the federal government or denied to the states are the state's powers for the people. They don't even know basic civics. When I tell you Democrats, socialists, Marxists, and liberals are not that bright, they really aren't. They really aren't that bright. And I do love associating with them when I ask for my fries and my drink and my fast food. So, I mean, but that's about it. This has been Best Shot on Nooga Radio. Thanks for joining us.
Becoming partly sunny out there through your afternoon. Slowly warming up, highs later on near 65 tonight. Cooling down, lows upper 30s. Now for your Saturday, lots of sunshine. Low breeze out of the north will keep it a little cooler. Highs of around 60. Cold and frosty Sunday morning. Lows near 30. Check out Lowe's. Pros can always trust Lowe's to help them get the job done right. So stop by and visit the Pro Desk at your local Lowe's.